Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is the second installment of many for the XDaysSince app. This actual footage you're going to see of me coding was filmed on a previous day. This is just a nice little introduction to this next video. This video you're going to see me actually coding the initial part of the application, making a brand new Next.js application and getting the kind of scaffolding in place. This is the scaffolding episode, if you will. So, not really needing to say anything else, let's get on with the show. So let's start coding. The weirdest thing about making videos while coding is that I need to I need to make my resolution smaller so that it's easier to read everything on the page. Because if I use the default resolution of 1080p, it becomes impossible to actually read all the code that I'm writing. So that's probably the most artificial thing that you're going to see in this entire video, but everything else is pretty much how I work. And the main thing how I work is by having my browser, and this is again why it's so artificial, is everything's huge. It's so big. The first thing is I like to have my browser and my code editor side by side. Where am I going to put my head? I can't be on the right side anymore. I guess I'm just going to hang out in the middle and just awkwardly overlap everything. Oh, I'm in the middle now. There's the code. Or is there the code? Or there's the browser. Editing in post is weird, but let's start the dev environment and actually get things running. Very excited the new version of Next.js uses Webpack 5 by default. Very exciting. Command and click to open the URL. And here we have my uncreated web app with Next.js, my fave. And this is why meta work is good, because I've literally already forgotten what I'm supposed to be doing. So let's go to my tickets. And I'm going to see here, my first ticket is to make the relevant pages here. The home page, which is that. Also I want to use TypeScript. I never remember how to use TypeScript with Next.js, but I know that it's a good thing to do initially because it's much easier to start with TypeScript than it is to go back to TypeScript. Next.js makes it really easy to get started with TypeScript because it is just the best framework. All you have to do is make the tsconfig file, which is how you configure TypeScript. And then next time you start up TypeScript, it's just like, next time you start up Next.js, it's all like, you're trying to use TypeScript, but you don't have them installed, install them. And then I install it, which is pretty fast with Yarn. And then I start Yarn dev again. And it's so good. Next.js is so good. It detected TypeScript in the project and it created a tsconfig file for you. And then I also love using the VS Code version control view to kind of see what's changed. And here you can see that they've made their default tsconfig. They've made the definitions file to actually get TypeScript to be working correctly. And it just works. It's just the best thing. What else does it say to do in here? So it says to install it. Right, TypeScript strict mode is turned off by default. I've read this files many times, so I know what to look for. I'm going to turn on strict. I want strict mode. I'll start with strict mode. This button's cool. It lets you jump to the file instead of just seeing the diff. I'll start with strict mode. I'm probably going to regret it because it just is such a pain to type everything, but sure, why not? Alrighty, let me restart it because I changed the tsconfig. Let's see if it yells at me. Nah, it doesn't yell at me. I'm going to leave this page open because I know I'm going to have to come back to it and do some copy pasta. My favorite type of development is copy pasta. But for now, things look okay. Things are still compiling correctly. Awesome. Let's commit this because I think it's nice to have a little chunk of work that's very easy to understand what's going on. So add TypeScript, commit it, yes, stage all those things, we good. Close that file. This is why I hate having 720p because I don't actually see my tabs anywhere because it's so small, but I'd rather you be able to read my screen than me be able to read my tabs. The plight of content creators everywhere, or at least content creators that code. Okay, so using TypeScript, that parentheses ended up being a commit, and we want to make the following files. We want to make the index page, which is what we have, but let's make that not so Next.js-ish. So let's close these things. We can see a little bit better. We're going to say XDaysSince. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Styling, I'm going to be using Tailwind. I already know that, but let's just make this say XDaysSince. Delete all the other stuff because it's not important to me. Like that. And I'm missing a div. Cool. And the footer can go away as well. Save that. XDaysSince. That looks good by itself. So thank you, Next.js, for having things look nice. I'll leave this here for now, just so things don't look horrible. So I have the index page. I want to make it the create page, which with Next.js, it is. I'll have to rename things with TypeScript. Oh man, it's not. Oh man, I have to rename things so it actually gets typed correctly. I forgot about that. So let me actually kill the web server and go into here and rename this to index.tsx. Looking forward to TypeScript now yelling at me. I'm gonna rename this also to tsx. The app is like the root of the page with Next.js. I need to actually have here. Here we go. Let's save that. Move it up over here. Just like that. Don't need app context. Move that away. Now things are being typed correctly. That's all we have here. So let's start up the dev server again now that we've actually done that. Boop, 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 boop. Now here's where I get mad at myself because I'm now, so this is technically a TypeScript change in my mind. Like this is still in the realm of TypeScript work, but rather than have to worry about reverting my changes to index.tsx, I'm just going to include it. So actually, going to add all these files so you can see that things are renamed. And a cool thing that you can do is with Git is you can amend the previous commit. Did I already push it? No, I haven't. I haven't pushed it yet. If you push before you amend, then Git gets mad. That's a conversation for another day. Essentially, you're rewriting history, which is dangerous. As on team, by yourself, it's just scary. But in this case, I'm going to commit all amend, and that's it. So I've essentially merged that diff that I had in my working tree, like those files there, with the previous commit. So if I go to git log, you can kind of see there's only one commit here of git add TypeScript, which keeps all those TypeScript relevant changes in one location. I hate that this changes in index.ts that kind of merged in, but whatever. I ain't gonna cry about it. Again, this is why README helps, because your mind goes places, and I have to make these other files as well. So we're going to make the create page, which is, again, convention over configuration. If you don't know that term, let me know. Convention over configuration might be a good video one day, but essentially, well, I'll tell you really quickly right now while we're here. Convention means that you follow doing things a certain way, and if you follow the conventions put in place by the framework authors, you're going to have a good day because you're following the conventions put in place. As opposed to configuration, where you have more control over what you want to do, but inevitably configuration requires some large JSON-like object to configure how things work. Frankly, certain libraries, tools, frameworks lend themselves better to configuration over convention, and then vice versa. And with a framework, convention over configuration is better because you want to get to your domain problem, which is the app we're building, and not really worry about configuring things. One of the worst offenders of configuration is Webpack. You can literally configure everything in Webpack, and I wish there's other bundlers that exist now that went the opposite direction so strongly from Webpack because they got so mad about it, like Parcel and Vite. You can check out my previous videos about those two bundlers where the entire thing are just conventions and they have a few configurations you can do, but out of the box, there is a way for you to use them. And if that covers your use case, you're going to have a great time. Hope you enjoy that little side note. Again, getting back to making these pages because it's impossible to make new things. Let's do create.tsx and let's do some copy pasta. My favorite type of pasta right here. Oh, whoops. So this is going to be create page. I like suffixing. Let's do create. This is going to be create a new XDaysSince. I don't need to have this. Don't need that either. Cool. And then if I refresh this, because there's no nav yet, I can just go to create directly to see my changes. Nice, presto changeo. Make a profile page. So can I duplicate this? I don't think I can. I can copy and then paste it in here. I shall rename this my pet. This is profile. Yeah, this is profile. This is profile. Like that. I go to profile. This is again just being the scaffolding, so in later videos it's easier just to kind of jump into things. And what was the last thing? The dynamic page, right? The actual. So with Next.js, I want to get this wrong. And again, this is how I work. If this was a fancier video, I'd already have the answer at the top of my head, but I don't. Pages with dynamic routes. There we go. To learn about dynamic routes. And I want this to be pages post. So I want this to be pages, new file. This is a cool thing with VS Code that you can now do. You can actually do i/slug. And it'll automatically make that folder for you. Just like that. Let's save this. Let me copy and paste this back to here. I want to call this the incident page. Dun, dun, dun. And then I can use router to get the actual query on here. So let's use the example that Next.js provides us. So we're going to do router equals use router. That auto import is the best. That's the wrong import. Use router. Whatever, we'll do this. Oh, this actually reminds me of this should just be next router. Like that. So this router, and it's going to be using, we're only going to be using the query. And we want this to be slug equals router query. Like that. And then we can do incident slug. And then we can do it's been X days for slug. Actually, just call it incident page. Incident slug. I don't really care about the magic of it, but I can go to /i/bananas. And it can't resolve things. Sweet. Right. Because relative paths and all of that. I don't like relative paths. They are just a headache. They are annoying to maintain. And luckily with TypeScript, you can get rid of them. And where is that documentation page to do that? Absolute imports and module path aliases. This essentially lets you alias the root path, so everything is relative to the root path, which means things are more static. And the way to do that is this example here, which I can go to tsconfig and add this in. Where's my, I'll just put it right there. Add that semicolon. And now I should be, right, so essentially this is saying the base URL for the project is where tsconfig is, which means that all paths can be relative to that. What's also fun is you can actually Right, so you could do, so you can customize it if you want. You could actually have paths do like this here, which I don't really care about. I'm just gonna, this is fine. This is fine, which means that for slug, I should be able to just do styles like that. And if it doesn't work, it's probably because I gotta restart the development environment because JavaScript tooling doesn't handle it nicely when you change config files. Again, why convention's more fun than configuration. And now it's working as I hoped. And actually, this is a case where I kind of sneaked in. Did I actually include gitlog? Nope, I still haven't pushed that yet, which means that I can actually sneak in. I don't know why I care about these things, but I do. Commit the staged commits and amend it. So merge that change back up, which means that all my TypeScript changes look like one neat commit, because I care about those things. Where's my README? README. Those are the pages. So I think that's what we have everything. And I can kind of review what I've made so far to make sure that they align. So I have the create page, profile page, the slug page. And I think I wanted to make a nav. Yes, I wanted to make a basic nav that's shared across every page. So I'll have to type in the URL. Let's go to, I want to go to routing. There we go. And I want to link to the new page. So, wait, sorry. There's the app that I actually want to provide this to. So here, the app file for Next.js with the convention is what's rendered everywhere. These components is essentially each page being rendered inside of it, which means that anything I put into app is going to be essentially shared across everywhere. So I can actually put in here a very basic nav, and I really don't care about styling. Where is this? Li, where's that example? I love me examples. Let's just copy all this because it looks delicious. Delicious. Command dot lets me, I don't know, missing imports. Nope, didn't want that. I want link. Nope, okay, it didn't work. Just gonna copy and paste that import for my own fun. Right here. Great. So there's home, there's profile, there is create, right? And let's make a fun little dynamic incident of bananas. Bananas. We'll call this the banana incident. Like that. And here we have them on style, but I can navigate nice and easy to all of them and have fun with that. So always a fan when that happens. And I think that covers all the things I wanted to do in the README, right? I've scaffolded out the initial pages, made the nav, and made those pages. And this is really the benefit of having these things mapped out. Meta work pays off because I can just easily checkbox that I've done the things that past Harry said I should do, and here they are. And the best part, which I love the most, is I can copy and paste the commit message because I'm lazy, because all developers are. The TypeScript stuff is redundant if you're into that. It's a separate commit. Commit that, yes. Got a commit going. So good. Whew. That was quite the episode. I enjoyed watching myself code again. That's for dang sure. Hopefully you enjoyed watching that as well. Learning the raw fundamentals of Next.js is always a pleasure. That convention over configuration is always lovely. So very nice. If you enjoyed the video, keep on watching this series. I'm coming at you more, not daily, but frequently. If you're not already a subscriber, do become one to get these videos straight into your inbox. Oh, and hit the bell also for those things to show. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next video. Stay happy, stay coding.